Hi, I'd like to spend some time in this video talking to you about the importance or a brainstorming technique used to be able to kind of bring a group of a project team or a group of people together in order to very quickly come up with an overarching vision statement or mission statement, or maybe sometimes you can actually use it to identify or be able to word a strategic objective. We've all been a part of those discussions where you're with a group of people that you're trying to come up with these types of statements, and they can be very challenging at times. And the challenge is that you're trying to say something very, very important. With there's a lot of different people that have varying opinions of what that statement should be, and you really are limiting yourself with the amount of real estate, the number of words that you're going to use to communicate that. And so there's a lot of vivid discussion. I'll give you an example of what I'm kind of talking about. Years ago, I was a part of a citywide effort where we're really trying to work together to identify the overarching mission, the things that we wanted the city to be able to kind of stand for and say, hey, this is our next this is our vision statement for the next 5 years. So we had people from the school system, we had people from city council, we had people within the government, such as the mayor, and then just business leaders all in the room, 30, 40 people in the room. And we literally took a day and a half of conversation in order to come up with a 15-word statement. Now, remember, at the end of the exercise, we were all very proud and exhausted with the effort that we had put into it. But it felt like we were so drained in the conversation that we did not have the mental energy to be able to start thinking about what is our plan to accomplish this? What does this actually look like to actually do the things that the vision statement was intended to communicate? And of course, as you can imagine, but after all of that energy and coming up with a 15-word statement, no planning took place beyond that. And so it was a lesson learned for me as a leader to kind of think through when I'm leading teams, when I'm that facilitator that's just trying to help people to kind of come to terms with this, what is the best way for me to be able to kind of get to a great place quickly? So the tool that I'm getting ready to share with you is something I've used for many, many years to kind of bring groups together. And I just call this exercise 15 words. So let's just say, for example, you have a team of 15 people. What I would do is kind of bring this group together and say, hey, we're going to create a vision statement that really reflects our collective thinking and what's really important. And so I would break that group up into, let's say, 5 groups of 3 or 7 groups of 2 or 3 or something along those lines. But I would break them up into small groups, usually in pairs, but definitely no more than 3. And then I would give them all about 10 minutes or so to kind of work together in their pairs to write out a 15-word statement around what do they think is the most important thing, or what their vision, what the vision statement for the whole group should be. And then once they've written that statement, all pairs have written that statement, I then ask them to circle 3 words in their statement that they believe are the most critical, right? And so once they've done that, they've written. So now at this point, so let's say we have these, we have, let's say we have groups of 6. We have 6 groups that are working on this. We have 6 draft statements that are already there. So at that point, I will probably tell the different groups to get together. So let's say we're going to take the groups that are in pairs. We're going to put two groups together. So now we're saying, all right, we have 2 teams that have written statements, read each other's statements. We have another set that's looking at another pair and another set. So we have basically 3 groups now working on this. And I say, look at the statements, the 2 different statements, look at the 3 words in each statement that were circled that group believed that was most important. Write a new statement that includes at least 5 of the words, right, that were included in that statement. So now you have 2 pairs working together. And at the end of that round, you now have 3 new statements that reflect some of the best thinking that has gone on in the group. At that point, you have an option, right? You can either bring all 3 groups together, or maybe something along those lines. In that situation, I'd probably bring all 3 groups together and say, now look at all 3 statements. Again, each of those 3 statements should have 3 words in each of them that have been circled as being most important. Now, challenge the group, now write a new statement that really reflects the best thinking of all 3. Let's try to include at least 2 of the important words from each of the 3 statements in that statement and give the group some time. And usually what I've done, once you've done, depending on the size of the group, maybe 3 or 4 rounds of this, usually end up with a product where people feel very good about. The energy of having this collective, this small group kind of brainstorming this done in a structured way generally energizes people. And what the largest teams have done, this usually takes about 45 minutes max. Sometimes we've gotten it done as soon as 20 minutes, but that is a significant reduction than the day and a half experiences that I've had in the past when I've been a member of a group that is trying to kind of work through this. The great thing about this exercise is not only is it work done quickly and getting everyone together, it energizes folks, and you're leaving enough cognitive horsepower on the table for the team for them to really start thinking about, well, now what does this mean, right? How do we measure our effectiveness towards it? How do we start coming up with programs and projects that we want to start moving the needle for it? Let's have a conversation about the resources that we're going to put to bear on it. But this 15 words exercise is something that I found is just extremely useful, and it's a great way to bring a group of people together in order to come up with that concise statement. I hope you found this beneficial, and look for more videos from me around just the importance of just organizational change and just building resilience inside of teams. Take care.